As we approach Saturday night, Cinco de Mayo weekend, we are seeing two fighters face off who are very underrated and underappreciated in boxing. On one hand, we have Amir Khan, Britain's own, someone I know personally, and someone who I really want to win the fight, simply because I know Amir Khan and I think he's a very good boxer who doesn't get the credit he deserves. On the other hand, we have Canelo Alvarez, again, a brilliant boxer who is facing the top names in boxing, and I think he is carrying boxing on his young shoulders at this moment in time. And for me, I really I'm in a bad place because I don't know who I want to win. Well, I know who I want to win more badly. I want Amir to win, obviously, because Amir's my boy and I've got to support Amir. But look, on the other hand, right, Canelo Alvarez to me is boxing. He is boxing now, and it's a question of whether I want my boy to win for personal reasons or I want Canelo to win for for the sport of boxing. Because if Alvarez loses his fight against Amir Khan, boxing goes to waste. Really, Amir Khan probably will, be the more dominant force in boxing and he will take over. But Sal Alvarez's star power, he's the pride of Mexico. He will diminish. But I'm here to talk about something. I'm here to talk about Saul Canelo Alvarez and why he is a very underrated and underappreciated fighter in the sport of boxing. And I'm very passionate about this and I'm very angry about this, and I'll explain to you why. There are three levels of boxing fans. There are the casuals, there are the mediocre to hardcore, and then you've got the extreme hardcore fans. At this moment in time, the mediocre to hardcore fans, the middle group, are absolutely slating, and they are the biggest group, slating Saul Alvarez. You get a few hardcores who are slating Alvarez, but they do not see what I see. I see a boxer who looks up to the likes of Iron Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, and more than anyone, Roberto Duran. And all this at the tender age of 25 years old. If we go through Saul Canelo Alvarez's resume and Triple G Gennady Golovkin's resume, and I'm going to talk about the weight and stuff as well, so just give me a minute to talk about that. But as we look into Gennady Triple G Golovkin's career, okay, given nobody wants to fight him, I understand that. But no, that's actually untrue. Andre Ward did want to fight Gennady Golovkin, and Golovkin was not willing to move up in weight to face Andre Ward. When we use the same ideology for Canelo, it's, Canelo doesn't want to move up to face Gennady Golovkin, but Canelo is willing to face Golovkin at 155-pound catchweight. Will Golovkin go to that catchweight? No. But then where was Golovkin's catchweight for Andre Ward? Where was there? I mean, there were talks taking place with Andre Ward, but nothing happened. I'm sure maybe they could have made a catchweight. I don't know. The bottom line is he didn't fight Andre Ward, but he was willing to fight a catchweight for Carl Froch. So it's a little bit, give and take with Triple G. Now, I like Triple G as a fighter. I'm a fan, but for me, he's doing these things where he's not fighting fighters and not taking any risks at different weight classes. So you can't expect Canelo to do the same thing. Now, the difference is with Canelo Alvarez has gone down in weight to face names. He has gone down in weight to face Floyd Mayweather Jr. Saul Alvarez is fighting out the 155-pound limit, right? And okay, given this is a bad weight limit for Alvarez, but really, this 155-pound catchweight fighting as a middleweight, Canelo Alvarez was doing it, but Miguel Cotto made it famous because he was the one who went and took the titles and was fighting 160 guys at 155 pounds. But you got to understand that Miguel Cotto is a name, and into 2016 boxing, this is what we now look at. This is how boxing is, and if you don't like that, it's nothing we can do about it. Do I agree with it? No, I don't like the 155-pound catchweight, but it is the way it is. And for me, Saul Alvarez is facing the biggest and baddest names in boxing. He is facing Amir Khan. Amir Khan is a dangerous opponent for Alvarez because it is a high risk, low reward fight. Very dangerous for Alvarez. James Kirkland was a knockout artist given he was out of the ring for a while, but he did have the power to knock out Saul Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez faced him. It was a good fight. Alvarez knocked him flush out. Then we move on. Miguel Cotto. Is that not a huge name in boxing that Alvarez has faced? You know? Um, Canelo took it on. Miguel Cotto, £155 for the £160 title. Cotto was wiping through everyone. Alvarez faced him. They built it into a big fight, and Canelo did him. He outpointed him. He did him nicely. I liked it. It was a good fight. Canelo didn't come in too heavy. He came in lean, and he used tricks of the old. Julio Cesar Chavez used tricks of the old Roberto Duran. He's moving nicely. He's using head movement. He's even has a bit of Floyd Mayweather in him with his. He likes to use his shoulder when he's on the ropes. He knows how to utilize that. He's got the head movement. He's got a little bit of Tyson in him where he likes to move his head and. I really like Saul Canelo Alvarez. I mean, when opponents are sticking out that jab, Alvarez moves ahead like a little prime young Mike Tyson used to do, with the head movement, bobbing and weaving and catching up on top with a left hook. But Canelo's only 25, he hasn't mastered it yet, but he's getting there. And I really think that people need to lay off Canelo. I don't like it. Canelo's young, he's 25 years old, let him develop as a fighter. He's fighting the biggest and best names in boxing. I don't even think he should be fighting at this level at this age. I think that Canelo should be he's still in his learning phase, but he's taking on the biggest and the best challenges. How old is Gennady Golovkin? He's old. And he still hasn't faced the opponents that Canelo's faced. Nowhere near. Sugar Shane Mosley is a fighter that Canelo faced. Now, given Shane Mosley wasn't in his prime, he wasn't at his best, but Canelo faced him when he was still active. He wasn't that done. Yes, he had faced Pacquiao and Mayweather, but he's not the old Sugar. And Sugar Shane Mosley is still dropping guys like, not dropping, but almost dropping guys like Sean Porter in sparring. So, I mean, Alvarez did it with ease. And then we move on to the biggest, baddest name in boxing. In fact, before we move on to the biggest, baddest name in boxing, Erislandy Lara. Was that not a very, very dangerous fight for Alvarez? Irrespective if you think he won or lost, I felt he personally, I felt he won. I like effective aggression more than I like someone who moves around too much in a ring. But look, Saul Alvarez faced Erislandy Lara, went to the body hard, and he dug in, and he didn't, let the fight pass him by. Maybe he did get outpoint, maybe he didn't, but he went for the fight and faced him. He's 25 years old. And then we move on to the lower names. We move on to Matthew Hatton. We move on to Miguel Cotto's brother, who he faced as a young fighter. Alvarez has a solid resume. And who did he face when he was young? When he was, what was he, 21? And who did he face? The biggest, baddest name in boxing, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, look, I'm going to move on to this fight. Yes, Mayweather boxed Alvarez around that ring, and he did him. He outpointed Alvarez. He weight drained Alvarez to 152, first of all. Secondly, Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought Alvarez when he was very, very young and inexperienced. And I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, the hate that people are giving Canelo Alvarez, when this guy, he's 25 years old, he's young, he's not in his prime yet. He'll be in his prime in 2 years' time, not yet. He hasn't taken much abuse to the body. He looks very fresh, very young, very ferocious. And he's learning. He's still making mistakes. Yes, maybe sometimes a little bit flat-footed, but he's made improvements on that. Yes, sometimes he used to come in too heavy, but he's made improvements on that. Yes, sometimes he was taking too long to get his punches off, but we can see from fight to fight, he's improving that. And I think he will come into his own when he faces Amir Khan. I think Canelo Alvarez is a very, very good fighter. And I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. And I'm getting sick of this from boxing fans. Leave Alvarez alone. Let him build. And I'm going to talk about the weights. Now, Alvarez fights at 155 pounds. Silly weight for him. He's going to get a lot of abuse for it, because 155 pounds, he should be like, if you want to fight at 155 and hold that WBC title, then you should be fighting at 160. But this is Cotto's title. Canelo has only fought one fight. He's not even fought the fight yet against Amir Khan. He's not defending the title at 155 pounds yet. He hasn't defended it yet, and he's yet to defend that 160 pound belt at 155 pounds. If he does it once, big whoop-de-doo. Let him have one defense of that title. He holds it. Maybe they're considering Triple G. Maybe they're not. Maybe they'll fight him. Maybe they won't. The bottom line is, Gennady Golovkin cannot make 154 like Canelo Alvarez can make 154. Triple G, right, cannot make 154, in my opinion. He would not be... If he fought 154 pound, Triple G would get beat by 154 pound fighters, because it's not his weight class. He would drain himself significantly. He would not... Even Abel Sanchez admitted this, that at that weight class, he would not be the same fighter and carry the same power that he does at 160 pounds. Whereas someone like Alvarez does carry power at 154 pounds. Alvarez is more a 154 fighter than he is a 160 fighter. We don't know how much Alvarez is currently. Yes, he can make 160, but will he be as effective at 160 as he is at 154? And that's the question. No, I don't think he is as effective at 160 pounds than he is at 154. And yes, we want to see him fight at 160. I understand that. You want to see him get beat by Triple G, and you don't like Alvarez. You don't like this catchweight stuff. But look, why? Why do you not like Alvarez? What is there to dislike? Take the weight thing out of it. What is there to dislike that he's not fighting Triple G? Forget Triple G. Who was Triple G? Who else Triple G faced? Look at the pay-per-view buys of Alvarez compared to Triple G. And that, to me, does not show who is a better fighter. Gennady Golovkin probably would beat Canelo at 160. I say it here and now. Maybe he wouldn't. But the thing is, Canelo is 25. Would Triple G be able to beat Canelo in 5 years' time? No, because he'll be old, right? Can a 28, 29-year-old Canelo Alvarez beat Triple G at the age he is now? I think yes, he would. I think when he grows into the 160 limit a little bit more, I still don't think I think he's got the size to be able to compete at the limit, but I don't think it's his optimal weight. I think his optimal weight, his best weight, is 154 pounds. Anyone can do that. We could talk about that with so many fighters. Look, we have the likes of Keith Thurman. He can fight at 154, but is he a 154 fighter? No, he isn't. He is 147 pounds. And that's the thing. These boxers need to fight at their optimal weights, and Canelo Alvarez's optimal weight is 154 pounds, not 160. Yes, he's fighting at 155 and he holds a 160 title, but when we're talking boxing, that is not Alvarez's legit weight. He should drop that title, leave it. And, we might want to see Triple G versus Canelo. But do you know what? His promoters are doing a good job. And if I was in Oscar De La Hoya's position, I would not allow Alvarez to face Triple G, because it's dangerous for him to face Triple G at 160 pounds, because it's not his optimal weight class. It will destroy a very young man's career who is developing as a fighter and needs time to grow. Comment section below, subscribe as always. Canelo Alvarez facing the biggest, baddest names in boxing. But why let him take losses and knock his confidence? He's young. Let him develop.